This is the psychological Gothic of Poe, Lovecraft, and pop culture. For my analysis, I plan on using Edgar Allen Poe's Black Cat, Fall of the House of Usher, and Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu and the Color of Space, as well as John Carpenter's The Ward, that was released in 2010. The story takes place in 1966 in a town known as North Bend, located in Oregon. Our main character's name is Kristen, and she's found in the first scene outside of a burning farmhouse and then taken to the North Bend Psychiatric Hospital. Convinced that there is a ghost at the hospital, Kristen has to spend an extensive amount of time under experimental therapy under Dr. Gerald Stringer, who's trying to assist her in her transition into normal life. During the opening scene, we see Kristen burn down the old farmhouse. The camera centers on her as we see a police car and two policemen exit their vehicle from behind her before taking her to the psychiatric hospital. This film helps support my analytical essay by not only having elements found within Gothic literature, but it also tends to lend itself to a psychological approach. Other than being about a psychiatric hospital ward, the film also has a very unreliable narrator from the beginning even all the way to the end of the film. Viewers are left with gaps in knowledge and gaps in time, and they are forced to fill out the details throughout the duration of the film. This film deals with subject matter that is inherently psychological, not just because of the subject matter or the fact that it takes place in a psychiatric hospital, but it also deals with subjects such as disorientation, disassociation, compulsion, the element of the unknown, and repression in the human mind. Camera angles that are used within the ward's scenes are often very emphatic and center on certain items for a specific reason to help add interest for the subconscious viewer. For example, there are establishing shots of not only the psychiatric hospital where Kristen will stay for the duration of the film, but there is also an establishing shot of the burning farmhouse that Kristen somehow had arrived at. The music throughout the movie is actually the music that I have been playing throughout the duration of this video as well. Throughout the movie, it's subtly placed, and there are many stings to add dramatic flourish when the audience is about to get a jump scare from the alleged ghost haunting the halls of the psychiatric ward. Color also plays a big role in the film, as the saturation tends to change depending on what's happening during the film. Throughout the beginning of the film, it's very colorful and there is a lot of saturation throughout the scenes. However, once Kristen discovers who she really is and what's going on, the color tends to desaturate as she figures out the truth about Alice and who she is. Another reason this film would be inherently psychological or gothic would be that there is no clear-cut explanation of what's going on. We are never told whether there is a ghost haunting the halls of the ward or if it's just a psychological element going on in Kristen or Alice's mind. Depending on the viewer, the movie could have a different interpretation. Unfortunately for Kristen, because her psyche has completely fragmented, we're left grasping at straws to figure out what is the truth and what is reality. What is the difference between the psychological elements and what is actually going on within the hospital? As the film continues, we discover that Kristen is truly Alice after she breaks into the office and snoops through the report on the doctor's desk. She discovers that she suffers from multiple personality disorder. The farmhouse that she had burned down at the beginning of the film was apparently somewhere that she had been raped after she was kidnapped at an extremely young age. As Alice packs up her things to go home, Kristen jumps out at the mirror and proves that there is no resolution of the film. With this psychological Gothic film, I plan on interpreting it and comparing it to not only Lovecraft's works, but also Edgar Allen Poe's works. Alexander Holton, 4/20/16, 3999 O'Leary Davidson, Gothic Lit.